motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Okay, we'll get to the public hearing.
Okay. For the fourth time, I believe. These slides may look familiar.
Is that it? Only 4 times?
That I've stood and presented. Well, you bring up a good point. Let's go back.
Yep.
On November 11th, it was announced publicly, and I have met with students, I have met with staff, I have met with affected parents. We held a public forum in December, and this is, the board took action, and this is just the public's time to hear it from the board before the February vote. So a lot of these are going to be repeat, but I will go through them again. So, here we go. So if you didn't know, the district is considering contracting with the Waterville City School District for the education of Heatley students grade 9 through 12. If voters accept the proposition, it is anticipated that Heatley High School students will begin attending in September of next year. Why are we doing this? We did an enrollment study in the spring, and it indicated that secondary students would continue to show a slight decline in enrollment here at Heatley. In addition to that, there has been several regionalization conversations about how we best educate and provide programming for kids here in this region. On top of that, there is the new New York State graduation requirements, which would require an investment in this district to meet. On top of future funding constraints in relation to high school requirements, increased demands on changing enrollment and specialized populations, information and data trends on current and former students who have graduated both 2- and 4-year schools, and this is aligned with our strategic goal of maintaining Heatley's identity and creating a fiscally sustainable programming here. And furthermore, it's acting in the best interest of kids. So, I put this up here because I think it's important that 3 years ago, we engaged the students in elevating their voices and being a part of the conversation about what school they wanted. And amongst other things and actions we've done to create a better school environment, the bottom right quadrant all talks about having bigger class sizes, wanting more kids in their school. And so this comes from the kids. Now, this isn't the only thing that taken into effect, but even the students themselves are saying, I want a bigger environment for my high school experience. Furthermore, this isn't the first time this conversation has happened here at Heatley, and the last time it was done in earnest was 2003-04. A study was commissioned, which is really nice for us because then we can compare what some of the things that were stated and said then as facts and that are now facts. So in 2003-04, there was 330 kids here. Today there's about 220 average. Course offerings, according to report, there was 18 electives. Now we struggle to maintain electives. We use our distance learning network, which is great to have partnerships, but it's not as authentic as having a teacher in the classroom. That would be the teacher on the screen zooming into our kids. And then clubs and extracurriculars. There was 9 clubs and 10 athletic teams at that time, 20 years ago. And now they're significantly diminished, and we have a merged athletic program. And then finally, in attendance, there was a 95.6% attendance rate, and it's significantly lower now. So, as you can see, 20 years ago, this was a different school. And I put that up there because that also matters when we're talking about why we're doing this. What are we committed to? As difficult as this is, ultimately doing what's best for kids, communicating clearly and transparently. Like I said, as soon as it was announced to the staff and to the community, I met with each individual grade band at a time to talk to them. And then giving answers to questions. There's an extensive FAQ document here. It's also on our website. And supporting students and staff on their journey. We have met with them, we have discussed their options, and we have incorporated them into this plan as to what is best for them moving forward. And finally, our overall goal here as a district is to have human and fiscal resources and sustain and maintain the Heatley identity. So we are doing that in these actions to sustain and maintain the Heatley identity. Why is Watervliet being considered? Well, we already have a shared service agreement with them for staffing, programming, buses, sports, athletics, I said sports, food service, and professional development. Given this, it makes logical and logistical sense, plus financial sense, to partner with them. And I'll get into the finances in a second here. As you can see, as I stated, this isn't the first time. These are all the things that we've done thus far for everyone. And we're kind of in the final leg of it here. This is the public hearing, and there'll be a vote on the 4th. After the vote, there'll be a meeting to accept either a yes or no. If it's a yes vote, students will meet with counselors from the receiving school, Watervliet. Course catalogs will be reviewed with students. There is an open house at Watervliet for affected parents so they can come in and see the environment. Several other transition activities will be planned, and I'll get to that at the end of the presentation. CTE also, we have made it a point that we are small and that we will individualize the needs of the kids. And so I have met personally with any family that has needed it to have a specialized plan so that this can be successful. Because not only is it an impact on the taxpayers, which I'm going to get to in a second, but it's an impact on a high school experience, which is a once-in-a-lifetime event. So it matters how, and an adjusted budget proposal will be presented to the board. What happens to the staff? Staff that are affected are placed on a callback list in both districts. And Watervliet obviously will be adding students, so wherever feasible and possible, we'll be transferring those staff to Watervliet if this is successful. So as I mentioned, I've met with the students. We have had several focus groups and gathered feedback and information from the students on what they would like to see would be the best things moving forward. We've tailored experiences to their needs. They have asked, so these following bullets are from them explicitly. A student ambassador come over here, meeting with staff and counselors, field trips, and developing mental health supports for students. One of the biggest things here is we have a $1.4 million grant, and we operate a mental health clinic here in the district, and those students would still have access to that. It just would be outside the school times. But Watervliet has a little bit different end time than we do, so we can make that work. So that there's still a sense of community and they're still supported. In space with other districts and our BOCES, and to bring in revenue here for the district, so it won't just sit idle. In addition, when we bring in programming like that, if they or any other districts or BOCES need a teacher for a period, then we would offset some of the costs with having that teacher teach a period in whatever program was to happen to run out the space. It could be a secondary program, it also could be a pre-K program. Some schools need space for specialized programming, and we would be here to fill that. So the taxpayer impact. Green Island School District incurs the tuition expense. We do anticipate a cost savings and efficiencies because we would just have less overall staff in this district. And so that would lead to short-term and long-term tax savings. At this moment, it's difficult to predict with specificity the exact amount of savings over the short term, 3 to 5 years, due to changes in the formula state aid budgets. Now, in the prior meetings, I spoke about how we wouldn't really know till the governor's budget came out. It's come out, and this year it seems favorable, but that doesn't mean next year it will be. So we have to plan for the short term and for the long term, and we want to keep the financial impact as low as possible. We know this, and for example, it will be lower because our insurance rates have increased 11% last year and they're 12% this year. So just simple math, if you have less employees, then obviously that cost goes down. The tuition agreement would keep our costs more predictable or fixed over time, taking advantage of higher reimbursement rates for specialized programming, and I'll get into that a little bit later on. So the question comes up, well, what about choice? Why is there only one choice? Why aren't we considering multiple options here? First of all, you have to have a willing partner to partner with you. Second of all, if you look at our goal here is to maintain our identity and what we're doing with the fiscal funds. One choice allows more funds to be redirected to the students who physically enter this building. Choosing Watervliet is the most cost-effective option based on tuition costs, reimbursement, and aid ratios. Choosing one partner best supports all of this and best supports the kids currently in high school. So it's more than the taxpayer impact. It's a kid that's sitting in 10th grade right now or 11th grade right now that has had 1 or 2 or 3 years experience here, and now they have to go to a new school. If there was multiple choices, there would be no support for those kids. So that loses the structure of why we went about this in the first place. And if people don't believe me, the numbers don't lie. Here is the non-resident tuition rates for the 3 school districts. As you can see on the surface, it looks like Watervliet and Cohoes are comparable, and North County is substantially more. And that's why back on this slide I said it's based off of tuition costs, reimbursement, and aid ratio. So here's the tuition. That seems evident. In the state aid formulas, Watervliet has considerably more aid ratio than we do, than Cohoes or North County. So any cost that's above that a high school kid incurs goes through their aid and then gets passed back to us. So financially, we would want to have the best aid ratio so that it's minimizing the cost to our district. And this is for public excess costs. This is when kids go to specialized BOCES programs. This is private. So all the different lines and ways that school districts expend more than their average FTE has been accounted for on top of just your general number. That on the surface would be like, okay, well, they're comparable. They're not when you get down into here. So with that, that's my portion. I'm going to let Dr. Stevens talk for a little bit and show his video. And then we'll answer any questions that I ask.
Good evening. How are you? Nice to see all of you. Thanks for having me. Thanks to the superintendent for letting me steal a couple minutes of your time. The best place that I've ever been has been Watervliet, and as I've said multiple times, I can sell it as much as I possibly can, but it's really not my story to sell. It's our students and teachers. So we put together a little video, and I think that we will give you a click at that.
Watervliet, Vliet's just the place to be.
We are very competitive. We believe in our students. Our students believe in each other.
Watervliet gets the reputation of it's nothing that really holds us back, even though we're a smaller school.
The school itself in general is very diverse, and I feel like the school does a pretty good job of supporting everybody for who they are.
We have such a great understanding of the needs of our students and what they're looking for, and I think that we really do provide that.
I'm taking a lot of college classes right now, trying to get my prerequisites out of the way. I feel very, very lucky to be able to take those classes in high school and save a lot of money towards going to.
And I like the resources that you're given.
Students here don't fall through the cracks.
When I first came, I was actually really nervous. I was scared that I wasn't going to fit in, but I immediately made friends. What I like most about the teachers here is that they push you to be better. They know that we can be better.
We get to see that we're not alone in this struggle. It's really nice.
I'm really excited for what the future holds for our programs.
It's amazing to see how it's changed.
Things have changed for the better with the addition of our new gymnasium, our new athletic facilities, and it's giving kids a lot more opportunities to be a part of something that can be good for them. I just want to give back and make the school a better place and a better community.
We talk about make a pretty big impact on the world.
I've made a lot of new friends, and I wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
We're your next door neighbors that have, over the last several years, offered our welcoming hand and supported whatever we could possibly do in collaboration. As Dan said earlier, I mean, athletics, food service, transportation, professional development, shared staff, you name it. We've already shown, what'd you say? Summer school. We've shown that we are committed. This isn't just about the name on the diploma. This is about providing a sound education for kids, and that's our goal. That's our mission in life, is to really support kids. And we talked about being small and big, and everything's relative compared to Heatley. We're a little bit bigger, but we're not as big as many of the other Capital Region schools that you can think of. You have not as large of a graduating class, but our graduating class is about 100. That's like 4 sections 5 sections on a good day or a good year, and adding 12 to 20 students per grade level is not going to make us over capacity in any stretch of the imagination. Facilities are in really good condition. We might have to purchase a couple extra lockers to make sure that there's enough lockers on the high school floor, but the building itself is ready to support high school and any incoming students. And we also have some other odd things that a smaller district can offer. Lots of elective courses, anything from fine arts, drawing, painting, mixed media. They have business. I can't even name all of the business courses that we have, but 3 full-time business teachers that provide multiple electives. English, and the cool thing about English is once students pass their English regents, they are awarded the opportunity to take any elective in English that they'd like to finish out their 4 years of English requirements. There's things like horror fiction and journalism and college and high school courses for African American literature, contemporary novel, creative writing, poetry, song. So there's lots of opportunity that a smaller district can't provide. We have world languages, both French and Spanish. We have music, we have theater, there's band, both beginner and intermediate, or beginner and advanced level. There is intro to theater. We have a drama club that puts on a production every year. There's chorus, there's jazz band. We do our due diligence in civic readiness and preparing students for the seal of civic readiness that they have the opportunity to earn. There is community internships available, but there's also psychology and sociology to help round out their 5-year sequence if they choose that pathway. And then technology. We have a robust technology program, design and drawing, engineering, constructional trades, auto transportation, I think is what the other course is called. So we also have AP Pre-Calculus this year, potentially AP Science course next year, and then plethora of student services, you name it, counseling, social work, family opportunities, health, E&L, special education. We've already talked, if this is the path forward, we are committed to outlining the job duties of one school counselor to transition, specifically for Green Island. We also partner with Menands, and some of their high school students transition to Waterville for high school. So this would be a counselor dedicated to that transition. Earlier, Dan talked about it, and I'm going to get to the upcoming months if this is a successful vote. And that counselor will be dedicated to supporting students and families and creating schedules and experiences to finish out their final year here and transition over the summer into Waterville. We also have a Pivot seminar, Pivot, which is a freshman seminar. That is one of our business courses that every freshman takes in Waterville in order to prepare them for college, career, whatever they might have planned for them in the future. Usually as a freshman, they don't know what that is yet, but this is designed so that they can start understanding why a resume is important, what kind of courses they might want to take in high school so that they prepare themselves for whatever that post-secondary career might look like. And then with that come career exploration as they get to 11th and 12th grade. We partner them with local businesses and ship them out to visit with businesses throughout the capital region so that they can gain real life experience and prepare themselves for obviously continue. Again, if this moves forward in a positive or a favorable vote, we anticipate, well, first, tomorrow, feel free to come by. We are opening up the building. We have a lot going on. There's a wellness fair for our community and our cafeteria. We have JV and varsity boys basketball games happening in the gym. And we're inviting all of our Green Island families, if they would like to see the place before they vote, to come. A short presentation by myself and some of the administrators in the auditorium, and then student tours of the building, highlighting some of the tech labs, music room, media center, you name it. They're gonna have the opportunity to talk to some of our students and get a tour of the facilities. Visit with students in class, give them a copy of our course guide, have them start to explore what kind of courses they might be interested in. At that same time, that counselor will be looking at transcripts to see what courses students might need, because it's a good thing to want, but there's also a need factor that we have to take into account. And then, sorry, that was March. February, come over during the school day and visit what the school would look like, one grade at a time, partner up with other students, go to a couple periods so that they have an opportunity to see it in action before they go to decide what kind of courses they're going to take. That would happen with our counselor in March, and then individual, family, and student meetings. Schedules are built every spring, and that happens one-on-one with a counselor and all of our students in high school. So families have the opportunity to come in and visit with our counselors and help students outline what courses they might want to take. Over the summer, we obviously have summer school, and then in August, before the school year starts, we would anticipate a Green Island orientation so that they feel like they're welcomed and they know where they're going and know the routine before they even get started. It's kind of my shtick.
Thank you both for the presentation. And for the care that's been put into this plan, we asked for individualized plans for every kid and every faculty member, if that was possible. And I speak for the whole board, we commend you guys for the amount of work you put in meeting that goal and exceeding it. So thank you for that as well. Okay, I'd like to open it up for public comment, questions, comments.
The only one here.
Well, you're Joe.
Well, anyway, when I came here tonight, my big concern, all the literature that came to me, I didn't go to a lot of that stuff because they didn't have taxpayer. I thought most of the ones were about staff and family and whatnot. So I didn't see the one where it was kind of open for everyone, or if I did, I missed it. But I knew tonight was going to be, and I wanted to be here because I had some thoughts and Mr. Waterley, the himself came over.
I'll take it.
The thing I had trouble with is all the districts in this area. There's 3 of them like ours. They're the union-free districts that don't have a high school. They tuition out and they give choices to like Manans. You can go to South County, North County. They used to be Columbia, but for some reason that stopped. And Wine and Skill, they could go to 3 or 4 different schools. But Heatley, the only choice was to Waterloo. And I said, geez, why is that? But as you presented tonight, that I didn't know, that it is a huge difference in the price because the tuition is 3 times that of Waterloo. So that answered my question there on that. I don't think Cohoes would be. I know as a parent, I would like to have Shaker has a lot to offer, and Waterloo expressed quite a bit that you have. The graduation rates and so on are different in these schools, and some are a little higher, some are a little lower. But that answered all my questions, and I think that the reason why we're tuitioning now is a very good idea, and I agree with that 100%. And you answered a lot of my questions, and I feel a lot better coming out here than I do coming. And I want to thank you for the presentation. There seems to be a lot of thought process going on. Did you actually contact the other districts, or did you just ask them what their tuition was?
No, that's all public. That's not even 2 people in between. That's just a public number.
That's you can't negotiate that at all.
No.
Is that what you charge out as your 4,000? I believe it was.
It's set by state.
If somebody wants to come in there from another district too, that would be the same price.
Right. So there's board policy whether you allow tuitioning in or not. So we only allow tuitioning in on a contract basis.
Right.
So
we
you can't live anywhere and come in. So that's typically the way. But those rates are set by SED every year annually based on a state aid formula.
Understood. The busing is a little confusing to me. Are we gonna buy buses? Are we gonna use your buses? Are we gonna hire out to Strand in these places, or how does that work?
We have to provide transportation to and from the high school. So how it would work is either we would contract with Water League, which we already currently do with our bus, or we would have to hire out. But we have to provide to the morning and to the evening
Right.
back here.
And sports also?
Sports is a separate entity in itself, in that we already have a merged sports program, so however that relationship.
You get state aid on transportation.
Correct.
It's somewhere around 70–80% of changes from year to year, but we get a good boost back on that.
We already have a bus on hold.
I'm kidding. I'm not gonna go on all night. But it is nice to know, it makes me feel a lot better about what the whole situation thing. Not that I was real upset, I knew we had to do something, but it's how we did it and why we did it and things like that. I just wanna make sure that was the option that some of the other schools were available. I know as a parent, I might wanna have my kid go to Shaker pretty much. I'm used to that school, and it's pretty good to have an option, which most schools allow to do that. But in this situation, I see why that we're doing it the way we are.
When the board first started looking at this, that was what we wanted to look at options, right?
Yeah.
Give families choice. The numbers kind of,
Yeah, they
Stop
kind of,
that.
yeah, you got narrowed down to where you had.
But this
But
is a
not
one-
that Waterloo's gonna be a bad option, but,
And let me talk about different scenarios. So Manans and Lineskill are right here. And they've never had a high school, so
Right.
they've always had options. Like, they were presented a different problem than we were presented.
Yeah.
Where, oh, you have to educate kids in a high school, well, you have different options. We have a high school.
yeah.
And so if you were going to make this move and then have a bunch of different districts, logistically, it would be a nightmare. It would be hard on the kids, because you would have less kids going to different districts. It would be less support on the receiving end. It would just be like, okay, you go over there, and that would
Yeah,
be it.
yeah.
Where we're trying to really hold this and support, because we're looking at the future generations here and the current. The ones that are in 11th grade that are coming to me saying, I have one more year, can't we just stay for one more year? Unfortunately, when you do this, you have to do them all. So we're trying to thread that needle of support and best financial sites.
Now, the other thing, little thing that bothered me a little bit, and not every citizen of Granada thinks the way I do, because maybe I know too much or don't know enough, which way you wanna look at it, but, yeah, all you're saying is a loss of staff. The only thing was ever mentioned was teachers. Now, if you lose the high school, there's gonna be like, you had 2 guidance counselors before, you're not gonna need 2 now.
So
You have several administrators, other administrators, they're not, I assume some of them had to do with the high school. There'll be some of that, there'll be reduction in that area too.
Yes.
You no longer have a principal, you are the principal and superintendent, so that's a savings. Yeah, I was just wondering how some of the other positions, other than, how is that gonna share, that's gonna shear down quite a bit, isn't it?
Yep, so the teachers are, by state law, are the only ones that get rights in a different district. So if the math teacher, they have to be on the
Oh, they
list.
do.
Only teachers, so that doesn't
Okay,
include
gotcha.
anyone else.
All right.
We don't have a secondary counselor right now. We are losing an administrator through retirement, so that's done in itself. And we are also losing front desk staff for retirement. So that, it's not as if they're losing their job, they're encompassed in the savings, it's just they're retiring natural.
We won't fill those
All right,
positions.
yeah, all right, that's, I don't.
Of the people
I'm
affected.
almost done, I think I'm done.
Of the
I think
people
I'm done.
affected.
I feel like I did.
There were 7 teachers affected. The other staff that were affected, 99% of those are leaving due to retirement. Of the teachers, only, I think, 2 don't have some type of either reassignment here or some type of situation where Waterloo will need them.
Right. And
So-
teachers are in demand, they'll probably get a job someplace anyway.
Yep.
If you're decent, you're gonna make it. They're needed, they're needed. We all know that. All right, that's it. For me.
I have a question.
Okay.
Here we go. Joseph Nolet, 143 Main Tree. I know probably most of you don't know me. Well, first of all, I just want to say congratulations, guys. You were put up against a really tough decision here. I think you handled it with grace and stability. I think you did a really good job. My question is now that you might be playing with this, special education students, what is that transition going to look like? It looks like you have a wonderful transition plan in place as it is, but I know some of our kiddos that maybe have an IEP or so it might look a little different. What are we doing to tailor?
Yeah. Any student with an IEP or a 504 plan will have an annual review coming up this spring.
Oh, okay.
At which time the IEP will end up being transitioned into our system for 9 through 12, and they do like a little transition meeting where the students, the staff that currently provide for that student will also meet with our staff that are going to provide for them in the future, so that they can create a plan that's best going to fit them moving forward. So they're going to follow this same kind of metric. They'll still meet with the counselor. It'll just be an added meeting of an annual review that'll be between both districts combined at the same time. Schedule's not out yet because we don't know what next week's going to bring.
Right.
But once that happens, we'll have a plan in place for when those are scheduled for. Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was it. That's all I had.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? All right, well, that does it. Motion to adjourn. Motion. All in favor? Thank you for coming. Thank you, guys. Your reunion all of a sudden.
I'll squeeze it by you.
It's your reunion. Look at this.
Get it on camera, fellas.
Okay, there we go.
What's that right here?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm just making sure I don't make shakes on.
Yeah, you as well.
Former school board member.
They're both former workers.
They're both former school board members.
Former board members, yeah. Both of them.
And my wife, she
She rubbed her in.
Yeah.
That's how that goes.
Small town stuff now.
She wants to step in the middle so we can have like a center.
Yeah. Works for me. Do you? I wouldn't mind, but I mean.
I don't. I would like to
Okay.
use her.
Then that's all right. Then be on your way then.
Thank you again.
Adios. Have a good one.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Will we see you guys on the 12th?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna be here for that.
See you then.
Where am I looking?
You're gonna look in the middle at this gentleman.
Yeah, you can look down the middle at me. Okay, and I will.
I was only 4 minutes off, by the way.
No, it's okay.
You're good.
Yeah, you were. You were pretty exact. Check.
All right, I'm good. You're good.
All right, so you're just gonna look at this gentleman, and can I have you say and